Well, hello there. I'm down on the South Bank again. I was here the other day actually, but I'm down here again because, well, there's something I actually spotted when I was on the Tommy March, and I wanted to come down here and have a proper nose about. The topic of this video is how they convince us to accept things that we wouldn't normally accept. Very weird vibe around here, sort of post-industrial weird zone. Oh. Can you even see me? Have you ever heard of Hegel? As in George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel of the Hegelian dialectic? I'm sure you have. Oh my god. This is weird. Yeah, Hegel had a theory that two opposing ideas, what he called the thesis and the antithesis, would naturally meld into a third called a synthesis. So thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, we tend to say problem, reaction, solution, just because it's less, succinct. It's how the powers that be have encouraged populations to accept things that otherwise they really, really wouldn't. It's extremely warm today. Example, the event that started the Vietnam War in 1964 didn't really happen. It was called the Gulf of Tonkin incident, and it wasn't a false flag exactly. It was more like just a fabricated lie backed up by official intelligence documents. We saw a similar thing in this country, didn't we, with Iraq, the dodgy dossier, the fabricated lies in the form of official intelligence documents designed to alter the public's perception by using the fear of nuclear attack. Something that also worked very well on the international community, who also weren't too keen on going into Iraq or helping going into Iraq. But give them enough of a plausible threat, justify it with the argument from self-defense, and then repeat it on every telescreen, every newspaper, and in the influential journals until it sticks in people's minds. An idea, a weaponized meme injected into your consciousness to break down your natural opposition to stupid ideas. They did the same thing with armed policing in London as well, because nobody wants to see armed police everywhere standing around staring you out with accusation in their eyes. And nobody really wants to be hemmed in by security perimeters and street furniture to stop car rallies of peace, and a constant reminder of the security apparatus around you. Nobody wants that. But if there was a perception in the public mind that the danger was severe enough, the public wouldn't just accept it, but they would actually call for it. At one point back in 2017, they not only had armed police everywhere, but they also had the armed army standing with them. I did make a video about it back in 2017. It's called Partial Marshal. I'm wearing the right uniform today, blending in, trying to blend in with my surroundings. Can we take a picture with the man with the gun, the heroic special man with the gun? But that was then, and this is now. Different times, different weaponized memes. It's weird. So up this ramp is the Waterloo IMAX. I was here the other day, and also there were lots and lots of other people here the other day, and they were demonstrating a very solid thesis in the UK at the moment, which is this: the mass public do not want illegal immigration. That's the thesis. The antithesis is the scary part, and it goes something like this. There are thousands of undocumented, illegal immigrants, mostly men, scattering into the country. So the question is, what synthesis will the government get you to not only agree with, but to actually call for?
CCTV is actually a very good use of money because you can't have enough police officers on the street monitoring everything that people are doing, and it enables you to have, say, 1,000 eyes watching.
So let's go on the main mission. I'm going down to a building called Palestra. It's a TfL headquarters. That name Palestra, though, I'm going to give it a different name. I'm going to call it Cinderella, for the simple reason that it has an ugly sister, as you will see. I kind of feel at home down here because when I first moved to London, like 20 years ago, I used to live basically way down at the other end of this road near London Bridge. And I used to walk down here, down the cut, every day to get to work in Westminster. And it always reminded me of that Pink Floyd album, you know, The Final Cut. It's very emotional. When talking about TfL and CCTV, normally you'd be talking about their headquarters in Stratford, but this is their central building. It offers services related to route planning, ticketing, maps, real-time travel updates and cycle hire. It's also where police officers go for their disciplinary. Although I've seen this thing countless times, I've never ever been able to work out what on earth this big silver thing is on the front. I mean, it's possibly a crash barrier, but how can it be? Because there's no crash barrier there. So it's weird. Maybe somebody in the comments can let me know. Also, this building, which is next to Southwark Station, as you can see, is the one that basically suffered with the cyber attack against TfL. What was it, last year or the year before? They said that the cyber attack was aimed at or affected that building's backroom systems, whatever that means. It's the building that used to manage the TfL jam cams, if you remember those. Essentially the publicly available CCTV that anybody could access. That was all taken away after the cyber attack. Is that? I have no idea. When there's a high profile cyber attack and the target is kind of classed as what you could call national infrastructure, then of course panic reigns for a little while, and then an injection of cash will come in to make sure that the building and all of its backroom systems are much more secure than they ever have been. And I've got a feeling that they might be taking the opportunity to build something extra in there, since it's going to be possibly the most high security data building that TfL have. It dawned on me when I came down here the other day, walking from the Tommy March, from Blackfriars Bridge, which is just up there, and I walked past this, Colombo House. It is actually one of our old friends, an old telephone exchange. These things are a bit like Pokemon, you know, they come in all different shapes and sizes. But that is not an ordinary telephone exchange, that is an absolute monster. I'm going to sneak around the back. This is Colombo House. It's absolutely enormous, but the vast majority of it, especially upstairs, is just totally disused. It's like a totally useless building. Guys, you can't make it up. Oh my god. That's the easy access into the tunnels, I guess. You're gonna love the sort of post-apocalyptic returning from the nuclear winter Chernobyl aesthetic that they have going on here. And this technically is called Rampart. It's a behemoth of a telephone exchange. It is also a deep level bunker, 3 times the depth of the Jubilee line. So it just does look totally abandoned. You can kind of see it says BT behind the windows. And this thing is technically a high capacity fiber optic routing and aggregation hub. Technically, although that would be the stuff beneath the ground. This thing beneath the ground is absolutely enormous. Absolutely huge. It's one of their biggest facilities. The thing that explains why all of these telephone exchanges are also run down and kind of vacant looking is because the money that they spend on them, they do not spend on the stuff that's above the ground. The thing that's above the ground is not really used. There is an object a similar size to that building, 100 meters below. That would be one of the most high-tech fiber optic exchanges that London has. It's facilities like that, or rather like that are going to be continually upgraded in a very expensive way to serve the communications, the data communications that's necessary to run London as a smart city. The smart city agenda is one that says that London will eventually become a city run by a kind of overseer, like an AI overseer. And that overseer is going to be controlling the traffic, both vehicle and human traffic. It'll be the kind of overseer that watches you looking for what they call irregular behavior and then reporting you along with your location to the police. Biometric data, things like facial recognition data, is actually highly sensitive, especially when it's collected en masse. Essentially the data will be in the secure custody of the government when it's transmitted from place to place, from the camera to the analysis center. And that's why they're going to be using these tunnels, because these tunnels are the government's secure communications tunnels. Cinderella here is getting a very expensive upgrade at the moment, and it is a small data center. They're presumably just going to be one of the buildings that's going to be helping to analyze all of this public data they're going to start collecting. And its proximity to Rampart surely cannot be a coincidence. It is in fact going to be extremely useful in helping with the sheer amount of data the government is going to start collecting. And buildings like Rampart, or installations like Rampart, are going to be doing a crucial job in routing, aggregating all of that data. First they're going to build it, and then when they're ready to start the mass collection of biometric data from the general public, they will have to come up with some kind of weaponized behavioral science, not to just get you to accept it, but to actively get you to support it. Until the wild normies doing vox pop interviews on the street are enthusing about how safe they feel now that there's live biometric scanning and tracking. The advocates for women's sexual safety will get involved, and they'll argue that the problem with so many wild, dangerous, undocumented men out there is a serious problem for women's safety, and women's groups will call out and they'll hail the amazing success of biometric tracking to protect women. And then it will be that if you are against live biometric tracking, then it means you are a misogynist and you don't care about women's safety. Make no mistake, what they're building here is the real 1984, and I've got a funny feeling the general public are going to be begging them to do it.